I'm Cruising Kyle, and today we're going to talk about all the gear you will need to get started snowboarding. That includes a snowboarding jacket, snowboarding pants, helmet, goggles, gloves, snowboarding boots, and a snowboard complete with bindings. First up is a snow jacket. Any good snow jacket will do. You don't have to buy the most expensive one. Snow jackets usually run in between $40 and $300. Really, you're just looking for some sort of material that's going to be waterproof on the outside and something on the inside that's going to be moderately warm. If you get the biggest, thickest, heaviest jacket you can find, you will constantly be overheating, so it's good to find something that's more of a medium build and add layers underneath it to create that warmth. Next up is snow pants. Snow pants usually range from $20 to $200. Again, you don't need to buy the best snow pants in the world. Walmart sells a perfectly good pair of snowboarding pants for $20. Now they are nothing fantastic and you will probably want to upgrade at some point, but good snow pants are worth the price. Mine I bought special because it comes with ventilation holes in the legs that you can zip open or closed depending on the need. Snow pants are always one of your top priorities for investments because as a snowboarder, you will be spending a large portion of your first lesson probably sitting in the snow. Next up are goggles. You will need some eye protection. Goggles and sunglasses are always recommended. You get regular sunlight, probably twice as much sunlight because you're usually at a high elevation, and 3 times as much sunlight because it reflects off of the white snow. I always recommend goggles over sunglasses because the goggles are going to cover a larger portion of your face and protect you from the sun. You will also need a helmet. Now, helmets are not necessary and most places will not require that you wear a helmet. However, I strongly recommend an actual ski or snowboarding helmet. You can usually tell them apart from other helmets because they look bigger and clunkier and they've got something in the back to hold your goggles or sunglasses to them. The reason you want a helmet is to protect your head. Obviously, I know. But you want to make sure it's a snowboarding helmet because bike helmets do not work and other helmets just won't be as comfortable. Most snowboarding helmets come with ventilation in the top, which you can choose to open or close, or have inserts that you can remove, so that way it's as comfortable as it can be for you. Helmets usually range from $25 to $100, but you can spend more money on a better helmet if you would like. Next up are gloves. Gloves typically range from $10 to like $150. There's lots of different kinds of gloves in lots of different shapes and sizes, different categories. You can buy thin gloves for springtime, really thick gloves for super heavy winter. You can buy gloves that have several parts, a shell and a liner. There's all sorts of ways you can get gloves, but really any kind of snow glove will work for your first time. I just recommend buying a good pair that you know will last at least a couple of trips. Next up are boots. Now, snowboarding boots are one of your most important pieces of equipment. Your boots actually help you control and maneuver the snowboard properly. So when you're buying your boots, it's very important to make sure you have the right fit and feel. Now, depending on the brand you buy, they may fit a little differently, and they may have different systems for lacing, different systems for the liner, but you use what is comfortable for you. I usually recommend buying a used pair of boots to start off with, so that way you can kind of get a feeling for what you want in a new pair of boots. But if you'd like to just buy a brand new pair of boots right off the bat, then feel free. Boots are usually in between $80 and $600. Now, these boots that I bought were maybe $200. I did get a little bit of a discount on them for being an instructor. They've lasted almost 2 whole seasons, but they're starting to fall apart, so I'll probably have to buy some new boots in the next year or so, depending on how much use they get. Now, the nice thing about not being an instructor is you won't be wearing your boots every single day, and so they'll last a lot longer. A lot of people I've heard like the Vans brand for snowboarding boots, and so if you get a moment, check them out. And lastly, your snowboard. Snowboards range from about $170 to anywhere around $600, maybe even $1,000. It depends on the kind of board you're looking for. Now for your first board, it won't matter a whole lot what kind of snowboard you need. Keep in mind the prices I've listed are just for the board, not for the bindings. The bindings themselves are going to cost anywhere between $20 and $300. And if you want a board that comes complete with the bindings, you can certainly find those, but they're going to run around $200 to $1,000. Now again, it really doesn't matter what kind of board or bindings you get the first time you buy, you just need something to use. Once you get going on your snowboarding adventures and you start having some confidence and you know what to expect from your equipment, then you can start messing with the different types and styles and playing around with it. But definitely you will need a snowboard. Now almost everything that I brought up to you today can be rented from the mountain or from local shops. I definitely recommend renting from local places. They can be a little bit more expensive than renting from out of town. However, it's worth the money because they know what they're doing. They're going to set you up for success. At my mountain in particular, in Flagstaff, Arizona, we get a bunch of people who come up from Phoenix and have rented their equipment from Phoenix. And when they get out to their first lesson, I have to spend the first 10 minutes fixing their equipment because the rental shop did not set it up correctly. At your local mountain, you can rent usually at least your board, your boots, and your helmet. Some places will rent out jackets and even pants to you. But really, if you think you're going to be invested in it, you want to buy. If you rent every single time, by the third or fourth time of renting, you've pretty much paid the price for buying a whole new setup, which can cost anywhere between $315 to $2,000. Thank you. I've got some assistants behind the camera. That's pretty much all the basics you're going to need. However, there are some extra equipment that you can spend money on that would help you a lot. I have here with me some of my extra equipment that I like to use. Earlier I talked about different gloves. Now this is one of my pair of spring gloves. Notice it's really small. They're not necessarily waterproof, but they are water resistant. They've got some grip on this, which helps a lot. And they're light and breathable, which means on those really hot days when I'm going to be burning up because the sun's super intense, these gloves are going to be much better than those thick gloves I was holding earlier. A lot of people like to wear pads. These are my personal butt pads. It protects my thighs and my butt from bumps and bruises, all sorts of different things. You can buy pads for your spine, pads for your arms, you can buy wrist guards. I also like to use knee pads, but these are not snowboarding specific. You can buy them from any sports store or even Walmart. That's where I got these ones, and I like them a lot. They help me a lot in my instruction and just in my regular riding to help keep my body at peak performance. Now, on colder places or colder days, if it's going to be snowy or cloudy, you're probably going to want to invest in a face mask. There are lots of different kinds of face masks, and I like this one a lot for those super cold days because it protects my mouth, but it doesn't go over my whole head, which means I can still wear my helmet. But you can also buy different kinds. I've got one like this. It's a medium size, and I can wear this several different ways. I can make it into a hat, I can make it a scarf, I can make it a partial face cover, however I want. I even have one that's about 3 times as long as this, so I can really wear it wherever and however I want. Some days I like to just look goofy and let it trail off the top of my head, and that can be fun too. And then of course, you can get into the fun outfits. This is one that I just bought that I'm going to be wearing this season. It's a one-piece suit. It looks like it's from the 80s. And I tried it on earlier and it is very hot. I really only recommend buying this kind of equipment if you know the conditions that you're going to be in and you've felt them before. I certainly will never wear this on a spring or summer day. It's way too intense for that. This is like, it's going to be cold and snowy all day long, you know, temperatures in the negative. You want something like this. But again, it's really more for fun and flair and not so much for practicality. My friends are definitely going to be making fun of me when I wear this to the mountain. And with that, you have all the gear you need to get started. Have fun! Next up are gloves. Why did you laugh? Oh, that part has to be in the video.